Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday as you are listening to the show today. It is Wednesday of Camping for Hunger Week. We, however, have pre-recorded our conversation on the Zoom screen on a Thursday afternoon. So I am not at the bus, but that doesn't mean you can't be at the bus. Somebody is at the bus right now from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. to accept your food and monetary donations for Front Row Warren County CCAP. I, however, right now am on the Zoom screen with Michelle Smeltzer. And Michelle, Community Liaison, is that what your title is at Warren County Department of Social Services?
Yes, that is my title, Community Liaison.
It's been so long since you were on the show. I kept thinking, I think that's her title.
Yep, it's still the title. Yes.
So tell me what that is and what that means you do for the Department of Social Services.
Well, initially it was developed so that I would be a resource for people who needed services in the community, not necessarily just through social services. So it was kind of like a one-stop shop. I would learn the other services in the community and what they had or what they didn't offer and different things like that. And then if someone were to call me, I could give them a targeted resource instead of saying, I think the health department does that. Why don't you give them a call? Or I think Northwestern. I would know more about the services, and I would really be able to give them a targeted resource instead of having them call all over the place. So that's how it was developed.
You were like the help encyclopedia. So
Right.
whether it was a family or a resident of Warren County that needed something, or somebody in another agency that needed to know what a process was, you were ground zero for them to start to get their information.
Yes, that's how it was developed. It's pretty much blossomed into a lot more than that over the last couple of years. So I sit on a lot of boards in the community of some nonprofits, and so I seem to have kind of found a niche in the homeless community and working with the homeless. But I still I work a lot with the churches. I have a great relationship with a lot of our churches in Warren County, and I manage a fund that the churches donate their benevolent funds to, and help them out. Making sure that the people that come to me, they know what the social services programs are. I make sure that they either qualify or they don't qualify for other state funds or federal funds first, and then we go into the church funds if they don't qualify for any of those. So we just try to streamline it, make it easier for them to understand what resources are there for them, because a lot of them just don't know. So.
And I think I run into that, or I hear that a lot with the shows that I do with United Way of Northern Shenandoah Valley, is that there are so many people that don't know what they don't know. Right. And if you could just get all of the information to all of the people, it would be so much easier. But how in the world do you do that, in a blanketed way?
Yeah, there's an app for that. So, I do have an app.
Now,
So
when we last talked about the app on the show, it was just an Apple, it was an iPhone app. Have you gotten it on to Android phones?
I have. It's on Android and Apple now, and it's Warren County VA resources. You just just download it and open it from your Google Play or from the iPhone store. I forget what that's called, App
Apple
Store.
Store. Yeah.
And yeah, just download it and open it. It's free, and it's got a lot of the resources that we have in Warren County. It's an easy. I use it all the time. I mean, it's great for me. I don't have to look everything up.
It kind of makes you a whole lot more mobile because now you can be anywhere and pull something up and not
Right.
necessarily have to get back to a desk somewhere to look at it.
Exactly. Yep. It makes it real easy. So
Well, we were talking before we started recording just about COVID and the impact that it's had on the community. And I was asking you about the numbers and whether you saw a massive spike in the need that our community has been having. And you were talking about how the numbers have been really kind of inconsistent and unreliable to a certain degree.
well, and I'm going back to when COVID first started, and everybody seemed to just kind of, shelter at home, and it wasn't a whole lot of activity happening, as far as people calling in for resources. And I can only talk about what I'm experiencing. But, my call volume went way down during the beginning part of COVID. And then when things started opening up, my call volume went up with that. For help with utilities or rent or different things. But then we had a lot of programs that came out to help with mortgage payments, rent payments, back payments, future payments, so that my call volume has gone down again because of there's been utility help out there, rental assistance out there. So I think that when those programs start closing up again, I think, the call volume will increase, of course. But I think I'm anticipating that it's going to increase as the winter goes on.
Well, and we're collecting food for Front Royal Warren County CCAP this week as part of our Camping for Hunger. We've kind of had to modify how we're doing that because of the pandemic, and we're leaning a little bit more on monetary donations for CCAP because I know they can, in the moment, use that money to get whatever might be needed for a particular family. But you kind of helped them stay open to a certain degree during when the pandemic first hit by offering them space and helping coordinate a drive-through for people to still be able to get food on a regular basis.
Yes, during the beginning of the COVID pandemic, we did open up a drive-through up at 15th Street for CCAP, and we were able to give out a couple bags of food and eggs and butter and some fresh food along with it, and bread and different things like that. So we did that for a while, and then CCAP decided to go back to their office and open up there. So they're open, I believe, Monday and Wednesday from 9 to 12 now. Then that's for food and clothing.
And do you find that some of the requests that you get on a regular basis, even pandemic aside, start off with a food insecurity? People are not getting their medications refilled because they have to feed their family or that sort of thing. And food pantries like this, I'm sure, play a pretty vital role.
Oh yeah, they do. Some people, the people I talk to, again, these are people that might not have transportation to the food pantries. They're very limited in what they can do. So something that started during this was Cisco has been donating food to one of our local churches, who then disperses it in the to social services, to different churches, and to different organizations that actually give out food. I think CCAP is one of them that they get. So we're able to, we get meat, we get breads, we get all different things from Cisco. So it's been great. So I've had a few giveaways, what I call food giveaways from 15th Street, where, I advertise it on Facebook and people come through, and I might get a bunch of milk one time, and I might get, right now I have a bunch of frozen macaroni and cheese and sausage links, so it's kind of so I'm giving out bags of this stuff, and it's just kind of random food,
It's like a food lottery.
Right. You just don't know what you're going to get from week to week. So I'm hoping to start a once a month, like on a Saturday, doing a drive-through like that down at First Baptist, because that seems to be an easier location to get to. And then doing something like that once a month. But we'll advertise and see how that goes. But yeah, we need to, I have food. So if someone needs food, give me a call. I can get you some sausage, some macaroni and cheese right now.
Now you're making me hungry. But you mentioned at the top of the show that you feel like you may have found your niche in dealing with our homeless population. So can we take a quick commercial break and come back and talk a little bit more about that? And I want to talk too about the thermal shelter, because I understand it opened on November 1st, and that ties in with the homeless population that we have in Warren County. Can we talk about that in the next segment?
Yes, I'd love to.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Michelle Smeltzer. She is a community liaison for Warren County Department of Social Services. We're going to come back and continue this conversation with her in just a couple of minutes. Remember, the bus is at the radio station this week. We are not at Royal Plaza, so you can head over to 1106 Elm Street and drop off your food and monetary donations. Somebody is there to accept it from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. every single day. If you'd rather just make a cash donation, you can go to the station's Facebook page, and the post pinned at the top has the link where you can do all of that online, and you never even have to leave your sofa. You don't even have to leave your driveway, and we will appreciate it just as much. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday as you are listening to the show today. It is Wednesday, midweek hump day of Camping for Hunger Week, and staff members are at the station from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. to collect your food and monetary donations for Front Royal Warren County CCAP. I, however, am not there today. I have pre-recorded today's show. I am on the Zoom screen with Michelle Smeltzer. She is the community liaison for Warren County Department of Social Services. And Michelle, we talked a little bit in the first segment about all of the resources that are available to residents in Warren County. And we talked some about CARES Act money and things along those lines. I want to make sure before we start talking about our homeless population in the thermal shelter that you mention the app one more time, because I think that is such a valuable resource that you have put together. What does the app have in it, and where can people get it?
Well, it's on Apple and Android platforms. They can download it. It's free, and you'll find different, it has different categories. So it might be food, and it'll tell you where you can get, the food pantries are. It'll have medical, it'll say St. Luke's and War Memorial Hospital. Crisis help, and it'll have child protective services, adult protective services, the Northwestern crisis phone number, that type of thing. So a concern hotline is in there. So it's got, there's a lot of different resources in that app. And if there's a resource that's not there and you think it should be there, you just have to tell me and I will be happy to put it in. I'm sure I don't have it all, but I'll be happy to add. It only takes a few seconds for me to add something.
And we talked in the first segment about how many people don't know what they don't know and have no idea that a lot of services and programs are available to them. And when they're in the moment of a crisis, that's not really, they're not thinking that clearly. This app would be great for them to be able to look at any given time and say, oh, I didn't even know that was there, and be able to get the information and get in touch with those different agencies.
Yep, and that's exactly what it's for. And if there's any questions, and sometimes even if you don't even know what you're looking for, you don't know where it is in the app. I mean, people just can call me at social services. Just call me, transfer to Michelle, and I'll be happy to talk to them about whatever resources might be out there for them and how to navigate the app if they're not understanding it or a little bit confused about what it's saying. So
we talked in the first segment we talked about you finding your niche with the homeless population. Tell me how that happened.
Beth Revis, our previous director from social services, was very involved in House of Hope. She was on the House of Hope board, and she's been involved with the homeless for many years. So she actually got me involved with House of Hope. And then, so I'm on the board of House of Hope. And after she retired, I helped start up the thermal shelter, Front Royal. And that was about 3-4 years ago. So we decided that we needed a shelter for the winter months. That's basically all it was designed for, is just a place where people could go overnight to sleep and get a hot meal, and not be out in the freezing temperatures.
So the thermal shelter opened at the beginning of this month on November 1st. It'll run through the end of March. How does it work? I mean, what are the logistics, especially now that we're in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, it did change a little bit. Normally we would go week to week at different churches. We'd spend a week at each church, and we traveled around Warren County. Because of the pandemic, we've been able to get some grant funding from the Continuum of Care. And we did an extension this last time from March until the end of June, with some grant money. And then we were able to open early because of grant money. And the county has been great. They gave us space, the old cafeteria at 15th Street. They renovated it, or gave it a facelift. And we were able to move in on the 1st there, and we can stay there the whole 5 months. So that makes it great. We don't have to worry about having a lot of people coming in contact with us or us with them. And so I think it's a little bit safer.
And I know we've talked when you've done the show about the thermal shelter in the past. And I remember that one of the restrictions of sorts was that you could only accept as many people as your smallest church would hold. But right. I'm guessing that now you have this cafeteria, you have a flat number of people that might be even more than what you could have accepted in previous seasons.
Yes, it is. So we always maxed out at 20 people in the past. This time I think, we haven't really done the math on it too much, but I think that we could comfortably go to 30. I think 40 would be pushing. We'd be moving some tables out to move cots in, type of thing. But I think 30 would be a pretty comfortable amount, would be maximum in there. Like I said, the county's been great about it. The churches are still supporting us. They're still bringing food in and bringing dinners in. They're hosting a week like we were at their church, except for we're not, and they're just bringing the food in to us at 15th Street.
How do you transport? I mean, do the people show up at the 15th Street, or do you have a bus that picks them up? And then what happens when they get to the shelter?
We do have a van. It's a 15-passenger, 2000. I was going to say 1902, but it's a 2001. 2001 15-passenger van that has seen better days. But it gets us from A to B, and we go down and we pick up. This year, we changed our location for pickup, and we are doing that at the United Methodist Church on Main Street in their parking lot. So we pick up there every evening, and then we bring them up to 15th Street. And if they have cars, some people do have cars, and they can, so their own transportation, and they can get there. They just get there themselves. So we open at 7 p.m. We do an intake. We make sure, they're they're not bringing in anything they're not supposed to be bringing in. Then we have a hot dinner waiting for them. We serve dinner, and they can watch TV, they can do arts and crafts. We have checkers and chess and that kind of thing, cards if they want to play cards, or some just go lay down, they just go lay down and go to sleep. And then they're up about 6, have coffee, get something to eat for breakfast. We have cereal, usually hard-boiled eggs, those microwavable breakfast sandwiches. And they have something like that. We pack them a nice big lunch to go, and they have something to eat during the day, and then they're back again at 7.
Wow. And then is this run by volunteers, church volunteers for the most part?
So we have paid people that are there the whole time we're open. So we have a paid person usually from 6 p.m. until about 7:30 a.m. And those paid people do the transportation. They're the night monitors, because and a lot of times, the church would be drivers for the vans, a church volunteer, that kind of thing. Because of COVID and all of that, we are just sticking with our own paid people doing that. We do have volunteers that come in every night. They're not necessarily from a church. Most of them are, but some of them aren't. And we have the same people that come in Monday night, and a different set of people come in Tuesday. So we usually have 2 volunteers every night to help serve.
And when you say that you could comfortably sleep 20 to maybe 30 people, what percentage do you think that is of the homeless population in Warren County? Do you think that's a high percentage? Do you think it's a low percentage? Do you have any idea what kind of a percentage that would be?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because there are people, I hear about people that are off in the woods and they do not want to come in. I just don't know how many people like that there are out there. Last season, we had 80 individuals come through the thermal shelter. They didn't all stay there, in one night, but there were 80 of them that came through. So, I think we have a good amount of homeless in our area, and whether they're homeless and then they, some people just dip in and out of that. They're housed and they're out, then they're housed, and we have a lot of them that are released from RSW come there. People released from the hospital that come there. And we're just trying to get them hooked up with resources to help them get housed.
And how can somebody support the thermal shelter at this point? Obviously, you mentioned that you've got the 2001 15-passenger van on its last leg. So if somebody has a newer version that they just want to donate, that would be awesome. But
that would be fabulous.
What kinds of things do you need, and how can people help?
Well, we have received a lot of donations this year. We've received a lot of socks and, hats and gloves, and we did an underwear drive, because that seems to be something that's really needed. We're doing a coat drive right now, and so we would really like to get more coats. We haven't really had that many donated yet. So coats would be great. And again, if it's something that I can't use at the thermal shelter, I can use it at social services and vice versa. So we always try to have coats available at social services for people that come in and maybe need a coat. And
these don't have to be brand new coats with tags on them. My husband has every work coat he's ever owned from any company he's ever worked for, and they're all hanging on a rail downstairs in the basement. So I could probably coat you up.
There you go. Yes. No, we don't expect new coats. So we'd like them to be clean and gently
in good
used,
shape,
I guess. Yeah. Yeah, we would like some coats. Everybody that comes in needs a coat. We have some people that need shoes. Gift cards for Famous Footwear, one of a shoe store, would be great, because a lot of these people do not have proper footwear.
How would they reach out? Do you guys have a website? Do you have a Facebook page? How would they connect with you to make a donation or get a donation to you?
Well, on our web, we do have a website. It's thermalshelterofFrontRoyal.com, and there is a link for PayPal on that. Our P.O. box is 454 in Front Royal. To reach out, we do have a Facebook page, Thermal Shelter of Front Royal. It's our own Facebook page. You can like that, and we post a lot of things on there, when we need things. Right now, we need plastic cups to drink out of. We're really, really low.
So anybody listening that's making a Costco run in, this week,
Yes.
grab a couple of those giant packages of the red
Yes.
Solo cups.
Yes, we are desperately low on those. I mean, because we go through a lot of people go through there. We use all paper, unfortunately, all paper and plastic, but we go through a lot of that. And so, we didn't start off with a lot of that, and so we're really low on it. So yeah, if anybody wants to drop some off, I'm sure we'll use it. But we have a lot of snacks. So we've had a lot of donations of snacks, and again, we go through a lot of it because we're making lunches for everybody, and it could be up to 20 people a night. We haven't had that many. The most we've had a night so far is 13, which is a lot, but probably double what we had last year for when we first opened. So we're expecting to reach our 20 pretty soon.
And it's just now starting to get cold again. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we've been relatively lucky with, somewhat warm temperatures, but that's going to be changing here soon. I mean, we're nearly into December. So at some point it's going to get cold.
It's going to get cold.
Well, Michelle, thank you for spending some time on the Zoom screen today to have this conversation. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the work that you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on here.
We are going to wrap up our conversation for the Valley today. Again, remember, we are camping for hunger all week at the radio station. 1106 Elm Street is where you can come by, drop off your food, your non-perishable food items, and monetary donations. It's also always great to bring laundry detergent, toilet paper, paper towels, things along those lines. Everything is always needed. Somebody will be at the station from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. every single day in order to collect those from you. I am not there today. I will be back on Friday. I'm doing a live show on Friday, so meet me at the bus on Friday just a few minutes before noon, and we'll take a socially distanced selfie together. Meet you there then.